So I first started playing football when I was 9 years old, and fourth grade on Bainbridge here. I started down in Pee Wee program. It was just the most fun I've ever had with all the little guys. I actually started playing tight end. That's where I started playing at, and then worked my way to running back and then to defense. So.
I played a lot of other sports like basketball, I've done track, and soccer, but football is the only one where I really feel a tight connection and a brotherhood. The guys I grew up playing with from 3rd grade all the way up to 10th grade, we were together for 7 years. We had bonds that couldn't be broken by anything. Nothing could stand our way.
Starting freshman year, it's kind of just like, you're just kind of in awe at these bigger kids. They're doing everything. You're not really sure what you're doing yet. And then sophomore year, the starting quarterback gets hurt, I get thrown in, and it's kind of just like, wow, this is actually happening. But the growth from sophomore year to junior year was really big for me because as a sophomore, it's kind of like, I don't want to tell these kids that are a lot bigger, seniors, I don't want to tell them what to do. But then as a junior, you're a lot tighter with the guys, I'd say, and it's a lot easier to communicate. Being in a sport where everyone has to know what they're doing, you have to all be on the same page, and being the quarterback, having a very big responsibility in that. You have to know what everyone's doing, you gotta help people out. If someone's not sure, you gotta pull them up with you, or else everyone's going down.
You know, I've seen it more here than anywhere else, but I think it's true throughout football. Is these kids look out for each other, and they lift each other up, and they don't identify, anything based on their own egos. And a big part of that is unselfishness. I think our kids get more out of blocking 35 yards down the field or knocking a guy off the line of scrimmage for their teammates than the guy that gets a 70-yard touchdown.
There's a strong bond between us as a team because we're basically a brotherhood family. You're with the same team for 5, 6, 7 years as you grow up and get better at football and stronger. Everyone in the weight room off season, working together, sweat, blood, tears together. It's just one big family.
We go out and we play for each other as opposed to just playing for ourselves, and I think that's just an advantage we have definitely over some of the other teams that don't have that.
I think it's the people you meet through football, because there's no other sport like this that gets you as close to a group of guys as football does. I mean, we work out 5 times a week during the summer, and then we practice like 6 times a week. So you get to know everybody.
Especially coming from a different country to another, didn't know how to speak the language, and just being able to connect all of those people who knew I didn't speak the language, that really helped me out through it just with a lot of things, and that's why I call them my brothers.
I first started off playing flag, just a lot of flag football. My parents didn't want me playing. Tackle, about 4th grade, so probably 10. I first started playing tackle and just loved it straight from the beginning.
I first started playing football in about 3rd grade for the Pee Wee program.
I think it was 5th grade I started playing football. I just had so much fun in Little League that I just didn't want to stop playing football.
I started playing football in 3rd grade at the Bainbridge Pee Wee program, and so played football for 10 years since then, and I've always enjoyed it.
I was raised playing baseball. I've played baseball my whole life until recently.
No one in our family has played football before me. I didn't even know the rules of football when I started playing. I just wanted to try something new.
I just started playing because my dad signed me up. He's like, "You're playing football," and I'm like, "Alrighty, I'll start playing football."
I didn't play football until actually freshman year of high school. I had just moved from northern Seattle area, and up until that point, the only sport that my old school had offered was ultimate frisbee, which was not by any means the good experience that I wanted to have.
You know, football is a major part of what we do year round. You know, the Friday nights are probably the big premier type things that you see. You know, the stands full of people, the bands, everybody loves to come out for those games. This next year, I expect the stands to be packed again for every single game, not just homecoming games, not just the opening game, whether it's NK or whoever, but you know, people are going to be excited. Hey, Ingram's playing today. All right, let's go see him.
The close-knit feel of this team and the community, I think it's pretty unique and pretty special, and I think the boys feel it, and it's a pretty cool thing to be a part of. You do know everybody, and you know, you see the kids around town, and people want to support the program and come out and watch the games, and it's fun.
Around this community, I could be wearing this shirt anywhere, and then I'd be stopped in the grocery store and say, "Oh, like, congrats on like the big win last Friday," and it was just great. From like, "Oh, I saw you in the newspaper," like that's like, I'm so proud of you. From anywhere, from family members to people I've never even met in my life, just anyone will come and talk to you about your like great run you just had in the last game you played, or like the interception you got. And so just the community is just so loving and caring for this sport especially.
There's a great sense of community here, and the support is always awesome to have. Like Friday nights, looking up into the stands after a big play or something, everyone's cheering, and the more people, the better. And kind of a funny story, after a game one night, I got pulled over because my lights weren't on, and the cops were like, "Good game tonight, you had a great game." And that's just the sense of community we have, and I thought that was just great. No ticket, of course. Talked out of that one.
It is amazing, and I noticed this season, just, and you know, all the senior parents coming back, and parents that, you know, their kids aren't around anymore. They keep coming back because they love it, and they know the boys, and they just, you know, it does make the boys proud, and the support that they give is just, it's amazing.
You know, you grow up together, you play together. You know, you all come back after high school, or after, you know, you're in college, you come back and you get to see the same people over and over again. It's like, even when you leave and you come back, you still feel close-knit, and you feel like you're kind of accepted right back into where you were. So.
We decided to run this offense here. I had some experience at academies with the triple option type of offense, flex bone, whatever you want to call it. And we had some other coaches that had similar backgrounds. Cody was one of them also in high school. He played quarterback there. But the reason for running this offense is because I saw a lot of attributes of these kids that are similar to some of the kids that we had at the academies. And one of those was, a very important one, was intelligence. And that, I'm not knocking down other teams, other places, but I've never seen such an high IQ as the group of kids that we have here in Bainbridge.
We hit hard and fast. The coaches tell us every day, every rep is full speed, and it's going to hit you hard if you aren't ready for it. And I think our players, we fit that scheme very well. Our linemen are explosive, and our skill players know what they're doing. And the option itself, it's completely unselfish, and I think the brotherhood we have definitely makes that work better. We don't have very many people on our team that have big egos, and you can't in this offense, and that just really helps the team and our overall just offensive performance.
Especially like being like a running back slot type that I am. You got 4 running backs, and it could be going to either one of them, or you could throw it to the receivers, and you never know what they're going to do, and the defense can't really stop it.
We have a senior quarterback, we have senior skill positions now that are all so fired up to run this program and run it so well. This group of kids is so smart and couldn't be in a better offense.
Sometimes when our quarterback pitches, he doesn't even look. He just pitches because he knows that he's going to have an A-back, one of our wing backs, 4 yards wide and 1 yard deep, and he's going to be there.
We all got to be on the same page. We got to be strong, and just every single person on that offense is an athlete. Like, we can just dominate a game by running the ball, and then just when they think they figured it out, we can throw it over them. And it's just like that offense, just the fast-paced style, and just keeping our heads in the game. Like, just we're constantly thinking of what's the right option and what do we want to do, and which is great because we can like ultimately use that to our advantage. And so I think we have one of the smartest offenses like in the game, and we're just all on cue with each other. We're all knowing what do we want to do, and we're all thinking constantly, which is a great part about football.
It's no secret that there's questions in terms of the safety of football, especially with concussions, more so than there ever was before. And football is being challenged because of that. And it's something that as a coach, if you don't recognize that and also support it and figure out the best ways to address it, you're not going to be successful. Thus, safety is one of the most important things that we have in this program. We have a safety coordinator. Just like we have an offense and defensive coordinator, we have a safety coordinator. And that doesn't mean that safety coordinator takes the responsibility for me in terms of implementing and making sure that we're dealing with the safety program. It's just additional awareness that's critical, because as you go through practices and you go through games and there's a million things flying at a head coach a minute and other coaches, we have to have somebody that's always on it, not, also with the trainer.
My job is to prevent, diagnose, treat any injury related to sports. I'm on the sideline for practices and games. I treat all of our high school athletes at Bainbridge High School. So I can treat anything from just a simple blister to an ankle sprain to diagnosing an ACL tear, concussions, all the way up to dealing with cardiac arrest that hopefully doesn't happen but could happen while someone's participating in sports.
We are very fortunate here at Bainbridge to have resources that maybe all the programs don't have. And most of the money that we spend is probably focused on safety and equipment.
I feel here at Bainbridge High School that we do a great job covering our bases. So like I just mentioned, one of our team doctors is trained in concussion. So if there's anything that ever comes back suspicious that I feel I'm uncomfortable with, I can refer the student and their family to him, and he has access to all of our baselines. So we have a team doctor trained in concussions.
So we are fortunate for the equipment and the resources. The other thing that we do, I think every coach does this today. We might do it a little bit more. And one is we practice safe tackling. Mondays through Thursday, we don't do a game day, but we do it Monday through Thursday every week. We practice safe tackling, and I don't think many programs do that. The other thing that we make sure that we do is we don't have the impact that we had in the past. It's not like the old days when I played, we were contacting all day, one-on-one, full speed, head-to-head. It's completely changed. And I think in the long term, the world's going to see that all these things that are being done in football are going to benefit and reduce the amount of overall of injuries related to that.
I just tell families, you do your research, make it a family decision. And some families just set parameters. I've had numerous parents say, if my kid gets more than 2 concussions, more than 1 if they get 1, we're done. That's a family decision. All I can tell them is, hey, we have all these steps in place. Should your child get a concussion? Hopefully not. But we teach safe tackling. We have these helmets. We do our baseline testing. We have this concussion protocol. We have all these things in place to keep your child as safe as possible. And so I think that's just really important. An important message to get to parents is, hey, we do everything that we possibly can, everything that's pretty much out to help us with concussions. We utilize those tools. We go to conferences every year. There's always a concussion lecture and the room is packed. We're educated as much as we can be, and we have so many tools to use to make sure that their kid is playing as safely as possible.
And I think what football does is it gives them that sense of something bigger than themselves, to be on part of that team, to have, there's some rigidity to it, but I think that also provides a lot of structure, and it gives them, I think, a way in a world that can be really kind of confusing at times, and a way in a world that's maybe doesn't uphold some of the values that I think we used to have. And I think football, probably more than most sports, allows young men to experience that, and that idea of commitment to something.
I was going through hard times. I've been through a lot of times in my life, so just being able to play football really helped me a lot.
I had no idea what I was doing 8th grade, and I feel like I've come a really long way from there. And that's just proof that it doesn't matter how good you are when you start or anything like that, but if you put in enough time and effort, it will change everything.
I've felt like this team and the game, it's like beyond the game, even just like the social aspect, and just like having more friends and a group of people. It's making me a better person, stronger both emotionally and physically, allowing me to do other things and believe that I can do other things outside of even just play football.
What motivated me to do well in academics and other stuff I set my mind to outside of football was it all really started with football. Because football teaches you to give your best 100% of the time.
It's definitely made me tougher, and it made me persevere through tough situations, and it just made me stronger in general.
With football, you learn teamwork, you learn better people skills, like how to approach different situations, problem solving. There's a lot more to the sport than just brute hitting, which is what I think most people think it is, but that's only 20% of the game. The game's all mental. If you don't have the mental part down, you're not going to do good in the sport.
For him, I think it's just given him that self-confidence, which helped him academically, helped him engaged in other sporting activities. He went on to basketball and then track this summer. I think if it wasn't for football, he would not have made the progress that he made all year.
I think football has prepared me for my future life and college, mostly in the fact that it's taught me to face my fears, and that it's okay to be anxious, but when you step up to the challenge, that's what really proves what kind of person you are.
I think football has taught me and it's prepared me to work hard and have set goals and how to achieve them and how to strive for those goals.
I think that football is going to help me later on in life. I think it's already started helping me. It's taught me that it doesn't matter where you start from, you can always be really good at something as long as you try hard enough.
Football's really helped open up the doors. I've visited one college and I'm about to go visit 2 more. It's going to really help me with my future goals.
The opportunities that he has right now, it's just, it's pretty incredible. They'll define his choices that he makes in life. So I'm very, very proud of what he's done, and even more proud of the potential.
Kids have more on them. There's more things that are coming at them, partly due to the internet and all the information that's going around, partly due to competition, not just competition in athletics, but competition in the classroom, competition to get into schools, combination to eventually get a job, and they all feel that. And there's a lot of pressures, and I won't say that wasn't the case when I grew up a lot of years ago, but it's different. I think it's a little bit more intense. And the great thing here, again, and I'll say that maybe it's part of our program. Maybe we're doing some good things, but I've seen I've seen young guys grow up really quickly here. And probably more, and maybe it's the community, maybe it's the parents, maybe we're helping the process, but it's a joy to see. It really is, how these kids are growing up and what they're getting out of it. You know, and now maybe because I'm getting older and wiser, I'm understanding really the impact of what this game is, and in this community. It's a little bit unique from what I've had in the past because it's so small and it's so tight, and this is an important part of the community.